recommend everyone joining Next Block. If you guys have time, it runs for 2 months. Yeah, Kernel has been great, and now I'm a part of Collectivo, which I also really love. It's they're launching community currencies backed by natural capital assets, piloting in Curacao, and hope to expand to different island nations and indigenous communities. Just an amazing example of how the work we do with tokenomics and token design and Web3 primitive and tool building actually plays out in the real world. So I'll pass it to Bear.
Thank you, then. So for me, yeah, not many, to be honest. I've been busy with like in real life stuff, and it's been hard for me to dedicate more time into all the space. So yeah, right now I use the TEC for me. I'll just pass it to Miguel.
If you're talking, Miguel, we can't hear you.
Hey, Miguel, I don't know if you can hear us or not, or if you're something's going on with your mic, but for right now, I'll pass it on to Acid Laser, and then we can check back with you in a sec.
Cool. Yeah, I think I must the Web3 communities I am the most maybe are the streams from One Hype, also the radio show from Miguel. Also, I always more into the Give It Galaxy community, Give It, Common Stack, the Trusted Seed, Brace, all that stuff. Our family communities, But I mostly follow like persons, real people. I think maybe the people that are in Colombia now. I love to see how are they having fun and see all the Discord people in real life. It's very cool. And I'll pass it to Richard.
Thanks. I guess besides the TEC, I've been spending some time with Bankless. I'm sure you guys have all heard of Bankless. It's just a DAO that's focused on essentially just like a community of people who want to talk about like how to do financial services in Web3 better. And then I've also been spending some time in I guess like it's rebranded, but it was initially called Web3 University, but now it's called Alchemy University. And here it's offering like free courses, boot camps, things like that, if you want to become a developer in the Web3 world. And that's something that I'm looking at in general. So yeah, those are the two places that I spend my time. Well, pass it on to Nate.
Thanks, Risha. Yeah, so I think there's only about 4 total. So I dabble in 3 other communities that I pay attention to. The first is Oak Community, which is a community here in Oakland, a Web3 initiative, trying to start a community currency, a DAO, all the good stuff. Just working on a couple of projects here in Oakland, and so we have pretty growing community, which is really awesome, and I've been spending more time with that. The other communities are Async Art. I think I've just been monitoring what they've been doing in the NFT space, and they've really changed the game in terms of smart contract development for NFTs when it comes to art and music. So Async Art is a really awesome place to look if you're a token engineer for NFTs. And then the other one is the Index Co-op. I think they've also done some pretty amazing things with tokenized derivatives and are doing some pretty cool things in the future. So those are the 3 that I kind of participate in and just keep an eye on, outside of the TEC and the TE Academy, of course. So I'll pass it to Irem.
I already went actually, so maybe to NT.
Thanks. Well, so I spent the bulk of my time between the TC, CAD in the academy, where I kind of facilitate a study group there as well. Uh, then I don't know. I'm probably in way too much Discord servers, but I've been lately into some Latin America communities. Um, which are spread across a few servers. But I think I found Twitter to be very comfortable to sort of keep up with a lot of people and a lot of things at the same time. So I guess kind of uh, keep to Twitter as well, pretty much then. And I'll pass it over to Miguel.
Hey, so okay, I had spent my time here in the TC, also in Give It. It's very similar, like the way of the community goes. Also, I spend my time in One Hive, and like lately, I've been also with like a dApp called Swarmy. That is like a it's kind of centralized, but it's also like decentralized. It's like an exchange, but it's not an exchange. Um, it's like an app where you um pass your crypto to your bank account, like direct to MetaMask to your bank. They use a SPAY, that is like a transaction here in Mexico, and yeah. Mm, I'm gonna. Who's next? Who hasn't gone yet?
I'll take it back, Miguel. Thank you. It's good to have you here, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm asking because I want to know. I've just been so focused on TEC. It's actually kind of sad. I mean, it's great, but I have kind of like just zeroed in on TEC for the last probably 4 or 5 months, and so the podcast that I really do love though is Green Pill. Every time I listen to that, I mean, I love the Bankless podcast. And so these are mostly like while I'm working out, I listen to these. But the Green Pill one, Kevin Owaki, just every time, man, the guy, I love that guy. And the guests he brings on are just super interesting. And this right now, they're focusing this season on kind of the decentralized society topic or sector, and it's been really interesting. Outside of that, I have like a kind of like a meditation community that I spent a lot of time in, but that's not really crypto. Okay, so thank you for sharing, everybody. It's actually really interesting. I think it's really interesting. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see all this. So let's go with the update. Risha, do you want to give us a quick update?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we met yesterday actually. Earlier in the day we met internally to just discuss what the rollout plan is going to be, and we essentially came up with a few categories, assigned leads, and also brainstormed a bit on what the marketing push is going to look like. So there's lots coming that way. And then just in terms of the conversation with Dowstack and Shahar, we essentially just went through that plan quickly, discussed some open questions and bugs. There's not too many. I think we're pretty good to go. There's just a couple more fields that need to be added to the export. And yeah, we essentially confirmed sort of like a beta launch date. So we're thinking the 3rd week of October. And yeah, that's roughly where things are going. There's a whole set of tasks in Clarity that essentially need to be done. Examples are like figuring out what the spam guidelines are, and even just like nailing down what the exact sort of like export is going to look like on the Airtable side. So there's a few tasks that we're going to iron out over the next couple of days, but we're on track and looking to kind of like go live with the beta and share more broadly, I guess, the 3rd week of October.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Risha. Yeah, one thing also that we talked about that I just want to emphasize is that this is probably best described as a soft launch. So we're not going to be like blowing out the doors and going like, "Hey, everybody's come." This will be. We're probably going to focus more internally to start, and I think we should start doing that pretty like next week. Just trying to get some more eyes on it and a kind of like a testing phase. And that's part of what I wanted to try today too, just amongst this group. But yeah, I think it's going to be kind of a slower start, and we'll be relying a lot on Twitter. We'll also be relying on kind of internal stuff like orientation and community calls, and then just trying to get the various working groups psyched to be using it. I had I'll give just a quick update. I had 3 calls this week with people who could be interested in using the curation service. So I'll just give you a quick update. So DeFi Safety, we thought maybe for a while they might be a good partner for kind of building out the safety category. And when I talked to them, they seemed very interested in it. So it's not like a done deal or anything like that, but they're now talking amongst themselves about the idea of like helping us to curate it, and if it went well, then maybe even like setting up an interest group here in the TEC to collaborate with other consultants who are focused on safety. So speculative right now. They're still like they're just digesting the idea, but that was encouraging. And then yesterday I met with the Omega team to talk about the applications for their Consilience library, and it was nice to see that they actually thought that this could do the trick. I mean, they have very ambitious plans for what they would like the user interface to look like at some point for the Consilience library, but like I think they were kind of relieved in a way to see what we have here, because I think they've been struggling with like how to actually capture the links and comments and things like that. So that was encouraging. And then the other call was with Tokenomics DAO yesterday. I was following up because they have a proposal that kind of got stuck up on our forum, and we hadn't moved it into conviction voting. And so I was following up on that, but also following up on just the possibility of working with us on the curation. On the proposal, just he didn't even know. Lois was who I was talking to. He's like, I didn't even know that we had proposed that. So he kind of downplayed that the importance of that proposal. He's like, hey, we're going to do this anyways, regardless of funding. So that's good news, Nate. We can maybe talk about that afterwards. But it's a little bit less, like it just didn't seem as important. And he's like, don't worry about it. If this is, it's like, especially in tight times, like, we're going to keep working on this. So, and I said, hey, if it's something that you do want some help on, then just follow up and we'll talk about it. But the more interesting thing was that when I told him about the curation service, he was super interested in that. Super interested. I think he would really like to help with the curation if we make tokenomics a category. And I kind of broached the idea of an interest group, and I said, this is not a done deal. Like, interest groups are not something that we're doing right now, but we're exploring it. He was like, yeah, I'd be interested in that too. He would actually like to run the curation service on their server, on their Discord server. And I said, that's one of the things that we're looking at longer term. And as a way of kind of collaborating with the broader field. And so he was like, this thing is what you've explained to me is super exciting, and I see a lot of value in that. So that's all really good feedback this week. Really nice to get that. Now we just have to ship it and actually make this good. But we're starting one step at a time, and that's what we need to do. So okay, so that's update on that. One other thing I just wanted to just mention really quickly is and you may have you may want to provide some insight in this too. I don't know, but like so the Communitas team, Irem, and Costa have been basically trying to clean up the Discord server, which is going to be really good for this service to like give it some more visibility. And in the community section, which is where this curation service is right now, and I think that's where it'll stay. They've been doing like a really good job of just cleaning up that area in particular. And so if you look at the labels there, they're all kind of like community, announcements, community general talk, community calendars, community help. And so right now I've just put in there as a placeholder, just something very generic, just knowledge sharing, community knowledge sharing. So I want to throw that out and get some feedback on that from you all. This is something that we can change very easily. So like we can test out various things and see what resonates with people, see what people are actually clicking through to. But at some point in time, we might have like an actual name for this service, but that will probably be more like the back end, the view that gets displayed after the curation. So I think we want to be pretty generic on the Discord server, but let me stop right now and just turn that over to Gideon if you have anything you'd like to add, or if anybody else has thoughts on the label that we use in Discord.
I like it for now. I think it's a conversation we will keep having in terms of the name and what resonates most with the community, what's more clear. So I think it's good to keep it for now, knowledge sharing. And I like that it follows community, like community announcement, community general talk. And at some point, we may even want to move it a little up and under the community section just for more visibility. And yeah, I also had one quick question. So when I go on to knowledge sharing, if I just click onto the channel, I just see different threads with different posts. But at the same time, I see like two separate threads under knowledge sharing. One is a new era for open decentralized content, moderation in Web3, and the other one is Discord's new forum feature that you posted, Gideon. So I'm just wondering, there are like 11 active posts, but for me, are the ones like two branches that I see right now, are they the same for everyone? Do you just see like two branches? How does that look for other people? Just curious, because I'm wondering why those two are the ones branching out here.
I am not. I'll show you what I'm seeing. Let me hold on just a sec. Let me.
Okay.
And actually, maybe what we should do is let's not do this right now, because actually, what we're going to do in the breakout session is we're all going to play with the service a little bit. So let's just capture that. Like so can people just report back? When you're playing with it, what do you see on the menu on the left? Let's do that. And there are some funky things actually. Ram found something kind of important, which is that if a post actually gets archived after 1 week, then you can't do emoji responses on it. And so we need to find out like some of the edges of the functionality. This is a new feature, so that kind of sucks. Sorry, that kind of is not good. So we need to find out whether that's a bug or a feature. Okay. Any other thoughts on naming or labeling? I'll just call it labeling versus naming.
I like the current name too, and I think it's not. I guess as long as is a name that everyone can sort of understand what it is cool. I don't think that's like too big of an issue.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the current name is fine. Knowledge sharing is fine too. And then CryptoZac the other week recommended Firehose, which kind of seemed like a fun name as well. So I'm good with all three.
Okay. Well, the label is easy to change, so we can just see once we start getting some more interaction with it. Maybe we can start asking some people. Yeah, maybe when you're doing, I don't know. That's probably not a great idea. I was gonna say in orientation, if people are like, "What does that mean?" or I don't know. But we should just be listening to see if that's a blocker, if that's not obvious what it is. Okay, so let's. We're gonna head off into the. Oh no, actually, one thing I want to do before we break off is I would like to get some thoughts from folks on future topics to cover in these calls. What would be some good things for us to cover? And if I'll wait a minute or two, but then I might just like see if we can just go around real quick.
Well, I think.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh well, I was just going to say that what comes to mind right now is maybe we want to start diving deeper into interest groups and sort of speaking down more more specific stuff about them, because maybe we can sort of start the planning in parallel with the launch of the service, uh, and also other things that are sort of related to Sampo and the decoration service. Like, I don't know, I still don't know how is the partnership with the Common Sense team looks like what are the limits to us using those services, or um, I don't know what's next for Sampo, or what happened to the treasury management and the Gnosis proposal and things like that. May be interesting.
Yeah, just to answer your question on the Gnosis proposal and the treasury management, we're putting that on hold until the transformation process is done and over with. And so, yeah, we're it's still there, but we're putting it on hold for a little while. But I on the subject that Gideon you brought up is that I think it'd be a really good idea to kind of lighten the load for you a little bit, and let's say, you know, uh, focusing on this curation service, like where is it that we can all plug in individually? Where can we put our contributions towards to where we're chipping away at the big picture? I would like to have that conversation in one of the future calls, because I do think that each of us could own a little part of it and just kind of keep pushing forward, and making this curation services being a big success. Because I do think it's going to be really really important for this to other communities like Tokenomics DAO and all the communities to start participating in this and see what kind of product we can create out of this or service that we can create. So I think just having us being able to plug in certain areas that are manageable would be really beneficial to all of us.
Great. Yeah, that's good. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be like the financial layer, but I think I personally do not have the clearest understanding of the tokenomics of TEC, and also like the details of the augmented bonding curve and stuff like that. So I think at some point it'd be cool if we could learn about that a little bit more.
I think that's extremely important. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, maybe we can. Actually, I did ask Griff about that one time, to have him come in and just kind of give an overview of that. I think that would be useful. So yeah, okay, I've got that. I think that would be really good. And also, just like for thinking about the future of it. Okay, anybody else got ideas? Future ones? Future topics?
Turn it around. Thumbs. earlier this week, and I'm not sure whether it is a good idea or not, but it would be cool if we could sort of get small partnerships to do like token engineering bounties. It- I've seen a lot of growth in these kind of alternative hackathons lately, even with Gitcoin doing a data analytics one. I wonder whether then like that sort of thing could be arranged, whether that's useful and whether our community is big enough to have some form of participation.
Can you I'm interested. Can you say a little bit more, like, do you mean for like dev efforts or
Or
more
say,
broadly?
yeah, I mean, I struggle to believe that every token out there has proper token engineering behind it, right? Most of it, coders throwing something out there and hoping that it sticks. So I'd be wondering whether we can get initially maybe our adjacent communities to say bring in $1,000 or something, or $500, so that you do either like, I don't know, something to do with token engineering, whether it is sort of like the things that the tokenomics DAO are doing, um or about the actual modeling in CAD, etc., or a more out there idea of like changing a specific mechanic of a token. I'm not sure which one would be more palatable, but it would be that the other community can chip something in and try and produce content for us. I will try and condense this into like a smaller idea, but it's just a bit too broad for myself even.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's something there, and it would be great. Yeah, maybe just draft something up, even just in a post for the sample channel, so people can react there. And then if it seems like there's legs, we can follow up on that.
Right.
I have two things very quickly. First one would be I think we are close to finish this first season of Sampo. So maybe again, just looking at, I don't know, next proposal or the scope of the next season of Sampo overall. And also, I'm not sure if this is strictly something for Sampo, but I think it would be great to sort of try to connect with the non-focus guys again, because I just remember this because of what Rex said about bounties. But so the money we gave them. I'm sorry, let me move. It's raining a lot. Uh, okay, so I think I've mentioned this to you, Gideon, but Stargum is sort of conducting a bounty program with the non-focus, and we are there as collaborators. But I don't think we are in the loop, and so it would be great to just know what's happening there and if there's anything we can do about that and to help.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Um, anything else? Okay, well, this is great. Actually, gives gives us some food for thought for the next month. All right, so let's break out into teams. So how many folks do we have today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So why don't we just do let's just do 2 rooms today. A little bit smaller group. So I'm gonna just count off. So Acid Laser, you're 1, Bear 2, NT 1, Irem 2, Miguel 1, Nate 2, Rex 1, Risha 2. And so if you can just before you head off, I'm basically just like using the text in these channels, and these voice channels, the breakout rooms that are below the Sampo voice channel. And I'm just basically dropping text notes in there. So if you can be kind of looking at that, this will kind of like be the guide to like when it's time to come back. But just very briefly before we head out, what I was thinking we could do is, spend probably about 10, let's spend about 10 minutes um, playing with the service and maybe adding some links and doing some emoji reactions, comments, whatever you want. Don't worry too much about like the quality of it. Like I said, this is kind of just a beta. So do that and then share your experiences. And then we'll, I think what would be good is to just have you guys talk a little bit about what would be a good data-driven approach or approaches for identifying influencers within specific categories. How do we find those people? And again, what we talked about before was that we're not necessarily looking for like the Michael Zargams of the world. They're super busy. We will try to get them involved, but the people we want really actively involved are like one or two tiers down in terms of seniority in those types of organizations. So how would we find those people? And if you have time, then maybe you can do I don't think we're going to have that much time, but if we do, maybe you can do a practice run by looking at the kind of regen. We'll start with regen as a category and just do some practice, like going out into Twitter or wherever you think it makes sense to go and start trying to kind of list some of those people. And let's do it. So head off now into, there's breakout room 1 is the yellow one, breakout room 2 is the red. And I'll circle back with you and we'll gather back in like 20 minutes. Welcome back. Let's see. Let me go nudge the first group one more time. Okay, we have everybody back. Good. Okay. You know what? I think rather because we're running short on time, we're not going to do the readout of results. But I think maybe the simplest thing to do is I'll ask next time how important it is to do this readout. I read this stuff, but you might want to read the other team's responses, and we can find out. We'll talk next week about how useful it is to do the kind of the consolidation report outs. I guess in yeah, we'll stop here today, and we'll meet up with you next week. And if you're going to the community call, we'll see you there in a minute or two. Thank you everybody for actually this stuff that you're capturing is really it's pretty rich stuff. So it looks great. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Gideon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. See you later.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.